Are you physically unhappy? So, one of the interesting things about the way that humans work is that apparently um, our biology, in other words, what's going on in our body, our chemicals, all that stuff, it really makes a real difference in our state of happiness. Now, as I've talked before, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on besides just simply our biology in terms of how happy we feel and how well we feel, peaceful, all that stuff. But it's just so interesting to me sometimes um, how our biology shapes how we feel too. So, for instance, I've noticed sometimes that when I'm fighting something like a little cold virus or maybe whatever, some type of bacteria or something like that, that sometimes when I'm maybe the day before or the day of, like when symptoms start to occur to where I can actually identify, oh yeah, I'm fighting something here. Um, I may feel a little more down or may not feel so good, like less happy, in other words. And then another thing I've noticed is, and this is especially after I fight something it may be a little bit more substantial to where I actually feel kind of nasty, like whether it's a fairly decent head cold or something like that maybe, or I had some fever or something. Um, it's not too unusual that like there's a day, so maybe I have that for a couple days or something, and then maybe a day or maybe the first or second day that it really starts to get better, um, that I can feel like really good, like just great, like extra happy, if you will. And it's like, and it feels like it's pretty clearly biological in terms of like, um, I've gone through this state of, I guess, reduced endorphins or whatever, and now my body is feeling better again. And it's almost like the coming out of that. I don't know how it works. Is my body actually having more happy chemicals in it? Or is it just that getting back to normal feels so good compared to before that I'm not sure how it works, okay, obviously. But it is interesting, like, that we can, how we can influence the happiness, that there's so many different levels to it. So, one is, of course, what's going on in your head in terms of do you experience meaning? Are you connected to other people and all that stuff? Are you having good thoughts? Are you having positive thoughts and all that stuff? True thoughts. And then there's also the spiritual level. Um, are you a believer? Are you born again? Do you have that inner man that's been transformed on a spirit level? Do you have the life of Christ inside of you? Have you gotten rid of junks? Have you got rid of there might be demons of depression or any number of like kind of junk in the soul level from satanic stuff that you just got to get rid of. Doesn't have to be super like doesn't have to be dramatized into something really spooky or weird. You just got to get rid of the junk, and that can create a lifting off and a real like you know the sky is bluer and the grass is greener sort of thing. And then, like I say today, yeah, what's going on physiologically also makes a difference. And of course, women experience mood variation because of biological changes. They say men, as you have less, like as you age, you normally have less testosterone. That's normal. And then as you have less testosterone, you are you tend to get more, you're more prone to crying, you tend to be more weepy if you have less testosterone. And now, I do think that it's also possible that sometimes as men get older, they realize that, hey, they need to be more connected on a heart level with things that are going on in their world. And that can perhaps bring more tears and all that stuff. Um, but, then you have the biological element going on too. And so, yeah, pretty interesting. If you're having a down day, it's like, well, where do you start with kind of diagnosing it? And I think it's okay to have a down day, if you will. But I think that there's a fundamental, if you're a born again Christian, I think there's a fundamental problem with a down day, which is it seems like you're not, like, I'm not minimizing how you feel. I'm not saying there's not a legit reason why you feel the way you do. But I am concerned that your feeling of reality, your downness, if you will, that you're not thinking true thoughts and that it's not aligned with the actual truth. So, when there is a perfectly good God taking care of you, you have a perfectly good future ahead of you in eternity, and you have the opportunity to walk with that perfectly good God right now, today. If I'm not feeling happy, if I'm not feeling a sense of joy, it's probable that I'm not thinking about the world and the true nature. It's probable that my perception of reality is incorrect. It's false. There's something. I have embraced a lie, or I'm having an incorrect thought about the true nature of how things really are. And so if that's the case, well, then I want to correct that, because I don't want to have thoughts that are untrue. I want to have true thoughts. I want to be aligned with the reality, the kingdom reality, and not just accept the subpar reality of the seen world and often the potential negatives of life around us. So, what about you? Do you have tips and tricks to help you get back on track if you're feeling down? And how do you deal with it? Let me know in the comments.